Hey guys, Rob Summerall here. Welcome back for another episode of Cuisine for the Quarantine. Listen, today we're going to take you down to the Deep South. We're going to set you up for all week of your lunches. It's one of those things where you can throw together over the weekend. You can just munch on it. We're going to give you some of the best things that you could ever have, right from a Southern boy's heart to yours. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to put together two things today, and we're going to turn them into a delicious lunch. First, we're going to make some homemade pimento cheese salad. And then after that, we're going to make some Pickles. Sometimes people call them other names. I'm going to call them Pickles today, and you're going to call them delicious. Let's do this. Following ingredients for our pimento cheese. We're going to have some extra sharp cheddar that we're going to, about 2 cups of that we're going to shred. We've got 1 block of cream cheese. I'll bring about a half a cup of mayo. I busted out the jalapenos. Who knows, we might get crazy here. We're going to use 1 jar of those pimentos, some red cayenne, some garlic powder, and some onion powder. Now for our Pickles, we're going to use a little bit of table sugar. We're going to use some celery seed, some mustard seed, some Vidalia onions, some cucumbers, apple cider vinegar and white wine vinegar, and a whole lot of love. Well, let's get started first with our pickle brine. We're going to begin off here with 3/4 cup of white wine vinegar, to which I've added 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. We're just going to get that going over the stove here, because what we're going to do is we're going to bring this brine to a boil for about a minute, and then we're going to pour it over our chopped cucumbers and onions, and we're going to seal it in a mason jar and let it come to room temperature and refrigerate it. And these are going to be absolutely phenomenal for quite some time. You're going to love it. To our brine, we are going to add 1 tablespoon of kosher salt, adding 1/4 cup of table sugar, just plain old white sugar. We've got 1/2 teaspoon of celery seed. You don't need any more than that. That stuff's strong. We got 1/2 teaspoon of mustard seed. For an interesting variation, you can add a little bit of crushed red pepper, but we're going to hold off on that today. I just wanted to put that before you. We're just going to let this come to temperature and come to a boil. And while we're doing that, let's chop some things. It's time! It's funny, the culinary world has started referring to these things as Pickles. But if you look back in any grandma's cookbook, you're going to find that she has something that is going to be pretty much identical, the same thing, just not with the big old culinary resume that you're going to find at some 5-star restaurant. And a lot of times, depending on where you're from, sometimes these are called refrigerator pickles. Sometimes they're referred to as fire and ice. And sometimes it's referred to as thunder and lightning. I've heard that it was called thunder and lightning because farmers would see that a storm is blowing up, and they would go and they'd get all the ripe vegetables at the end of the day that might be ruined by the storm. And so because that thunder and lightning's coming, they'd go get all of that beautiful produce and have to do something with it. And they'd pickle it, do a quick pickle on it. Well, for us, we're going to thinly slice some onions, and we're going to thinly slice some cucumbers. And that's it for us. But let me tell you, my recipe is the weird one, not other people's. You're gonna find most of the time that people are gonna include in this chunks of tomatoes. My family doesn't love tomatoes that are pickled, so I'm not putting them in there. But if you like tomatoes, this is a great place for them, okay? I will tell you that some people put in celery. Some people like to put in baby carrots. I think it's just whatever you like. You know, look, this is not rocket science. You just want to get this in there and, you know, it might be the kind of thing that you might just want to see what's at the farmer's market that day, okay? And to roll with it like that. Oh, that pickling liquid is beginning to come to a boil. We're going to turn it off and let it sit for about a minute. Well, this jar was a whole lot larger than what I'm used to. And so I wound up doubling my pickling recipe because there just wasn't enough liquid in there to cover up my vegetables sufficiently. So, if you have a big jar, you might need to double your recipe too. Pimento cheese. It is all the rage these days. I gotta tell you that if you're in a high-end southern restaurant, they're gonna find a way to work pimento cheese into the most unusual and, in my opinion, delicious kinds of ways. Let me just tell you, one of the places that I love to eat when we visit my son in college in Birmingham is a place that serves nothing but biscuits. It is open in the mornings and through lunchtime. And one of their things that they serve is a big old cat head biscuit. It's just delicious. And on that they put a scoop, or they put a southern fried chicken fillet. And then on top of that, they put a little scoop of pimento cheese. They top that with some pickled jalapeno peppers and a little sorghum molasses. You wouldn't think those things would work, but my, oh my, I'm gonna do some of that with some of this, right? I don't think it's gonna turn into a cuisine for the quarantine. I think it's just gonna turn into a cuisine for Rob, if you know what I'm saying. But I think a good pimento cheese is a standard to have in your fridge. It's great on crackers. It's great on toasted bread. It's great if you wanna put, one of those deals where you do, just an ice cream scoop of chicken salad next to a scoop of pimento cheese salad with maybe a little fruit salad on the side. You can't go wrong. Now, you saw what I had laid out earlier. I had 2 blocks of cream cheese. I said it was gonna be 1. I thought about it. I said, you know what? I got some friends I wanna share this with, so I'm gonna double my recipe. So I'm doubling the recipe. The recipe you're gonna see on screen is the recipe for 1 batch. If it looks confusing, it's because I'm doubling it. So I'm adding in here, per the recipe for 1 batch, 2 cups of extra sharp cheddar. And you'll notice that I broke out the box grater and grated this myself. I think the mouthfeel makes a difference. You don't want that pre-shredded stuff on this. And then I'm gonna add 2 jars of pimentos, and I'm gonna add a 1/2 cup of mayo. What I just did, I told you the double batch amount for pimentos, but the single batch amount for cheese. So let me get this straight, okay? Real simple if you're not doing math. 1 block of cream cheese, 2 cups of extra sharp cheddar, 1 4-ounce things of pimentos, 1/2 cup of mayo. I'm giving you all the single recipe ingredients. Just follow what's on the screen, folks. And then we're gonna add some spices in here. We've got a 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder. We've got a 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder and 1/8 of a teaspoon of cayenne. And we're just gonna let, ye olden stand mixer. Mix this guy up and make us some pimento cheese salad. The recipe calls for us to salt and pepper to taste. I don't know what it tastes like yet, so I'm going to taste it. A little help of a Ritz cracker here. There we go. Nothing. It needs nothing. I don't know why they would say salt and pepper to taste. A little bit of cayenne gives you all the heat you need. No saltiness required. This is unbelievable. Now, what you don't know is that this is gonna be better after it sits up a little while. So I'm gonna divvy it out. I'm gonna put some in a container for me, put some in a container for my friend, and I'm gonna let them sit, and then I'm gonna go make a delivery. Let them have a little joy today. No jalapenos. I'm not adding any jalapenos. You want to add the jalapenos? Have at it. I'm happy where I am. All right, you guys didn't really think I was just going to end with pimento cheese and quick pickles, did you? No, we've got to eat lunch. And so think about what you might have for lunch. Well, what I might have is going to be a quick sandwich. And so here's what we're going to do. We're going to take some of that pimento cheese that is homemade and delicious, the epitome of Southern cooking, and we're gonna add to that a couple of slices of sourdough bread. You seeing where I'm going yet? A couple of slices of smoked ham. Are you with me? A little bit of butter. And we're gonna make a pimento cheese and ham grilled cheese sandwich. I am not kidding. We're really gonna do that. You're welcome. So here's the deal. I'm not gonna butter my bread because I'm in a hurry. I do this sometimes. I'm gonna butter the pan, then I'm gonna let the sourdough ride in the butter, okay? That's a good little cheat. Let's get some of our pimento cheese here. We're just gonna smear it. It's nice and malleable right now. Really, honestly, it'll be better after it sits up a night. Okay, listen, you don't be giving me no pimento cheese sandwich where the cheese goes kind of to the middle. I want it all the way to the edge, yo. If it bubbles over to the side, all the more the better, okay? Just gonna let that get happy. I've got some delicious smoked ham. I would not recommend brown sugar ham on this. I would recommend a good smoked ham. I think that you need that lack of sweetness there, okay? And we're just gonna top him here. We flip him over, we'll butter the pan again, but I might just kind of see if I can get a little bit of that butter on there. Just let him hang out. He'll let you know. Listen to your pan. Listen. He'll tell you when he's getting done. All right, we're fixing to flip her over here. Let's butter up our pan, because both sides deserve to be buttered. Okay, you don't want a halfway tasting grilled cheese sandwich. There, oh my goodness, look at how that looks. Can you hear that? That's what it sounds like. Hey Alexa, who makes the best grilled cheese sandwich in the world?
Here's something I found on the web. According to lifehacker.com, the best method I've ever seen for making a perfect grilled cheese comes from Adam Kuban.
Alexa, you're wrong.
Thanks for letting me know.
You're welcome. Stupid computer. We got a beautiful grilled cheese sandwich, a beautiful grilled pimento cheese sandwich. Let me just cut this up here for us. Okay. Oh, it's kind of gooey. I don't mind. Goo never hurt you. All right. My goodness. I've got some taste testers here that are gonna help me. Okay, this is my friend Adley. She's socially distancing from me. Okay, but she's gonna socially distance that pickle into her face. She puts the pickle into her face hole. Now granted, these need to be cooked. These need to be sit for a little while longer. Okay?
Pretty good, I like it.
It's more crunchy than your typical pickle, right? Kind of a little bit more cucumbery, would you say?
I would say that.
Okay. I have a grilled ham and pimento cheese sandwich. Hallelujah, the South done rose again. I am telling you, I don't mean to be offensive by that statement, because I don't stand for the things of the Confederacy, but I stand for this recipe. I stand for this recipe and put it in my face. I'll probably edit that out. Hey guys, guess what? We have fed you quick pickles. Pickle, 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 pickle. Oh yeah, that's on point. That's on point. Mm-hmm. And you can follow this recipe. Now listen, don't forget, we want to hear from you. What do you like to pickle? How do you pickle it? What do you do different than we do? Because I might like your recipe better. I've never tried your recipe. It might snag me and I might want to use it. All right. If you like some pimento cheese, make some up. Let me know how it goes. Send stuff in, robsummerall@gmail.com. Guys, we have done it again. Once again, we have fed some cuisine for the quarantine. Banana. Banana. Y'all want to do it?
Cuisine for the quarantine. With Rob Summerall, the goat. Cuisine for the quarantine.